Hey, Redcasters, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Go Big Red.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast, the Husker Fan Sports Show.
Welcome to the Go Big Redcast. I'm your host, David Gaspers, and I'm with Rob.
That's Redcast, Rob, to you, Dave. And, you know, the only thing that I've really got to say this week as far as a hot take goes is keep firing everybody. Let's go.
All right. Except maybe DBK. I'm going to keep the volleyball staff in place. Right, Abby?
Yeah, well, Dave, you didn't introduce me first, and I'm deeply offended by that. And on that note, I'm choosing not to be a part of this podcast anymore. I'm going to take my ball and go home.
That's right. Even though maybe I think you should have been in over somebody else. Like Boomer, for example.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I'm glad you're finally sticking up for me, unlike our previous relationship with the ACC, who really haven't, gone out on a limb for their partner podcast here. So our relationship with the entire Atlantic Coast Conference is pretty strained, so we'll see where this goes in the future.
I think there's permanent damage being done, Boomer.
Exactly.
It's, yeah. Well, I'm glad that we are not in the ACC or Notre Dame and fighting about who did what when. But we do have a playoff set, whether it's the right playoff or not. That's the beauty of college football. And, same thing with Nebraska. We're already in the off season. We're trying to win the off season, right, Rob?
That's all we do is win the off season, no matter what. I think, isn't that how the song goes? All we do is win the off season, no matter what.
Like, we got a bowl game? What are we talking about?
I know. Bowl game? You talk about bowl game? I mean, I was actually looking at flights to go out and meet Vegas Jer in Vegas for that game. I told my wife, I'm like, would you be mad if I missed like New Year's Eve to go to Vegas for a Nebraska bowl game? She's like, have
Are
fun.
you and Vegas Jer going to share a hotel room? No,
I think he's bringing his daughters, so that would be weird.
That would be awkward.
Yeah, that would be awkward. I mean, quite frankly, I could probably find a bench to pretend I'm sitting up with sunglasses on and just sleep there.
Gamble the
game
night
or something. I don't know.
Fine.
It's like a midday game.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
The morning of and fly out. Home. Yeah,
totally.
I don't know. Totally. I mean, it's just.
There's a lot going on, right? We've got. We do have some bowl prep, I guess, and some new coaches to actually help us prep for that bowl game. So we'll run through a lot of the hirings and firings, what that may mean for Nebraska. Rob, I think you've got some good inside information on the NIL and collective business going forward. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. And I only imagine that Abby's got some volleyball coverage because – hey, we're already in the Sweet 16, right? But that was expected.
Yeah, we'll get to that probably towards the end. I think, we don't want to.
What about basketball?
Nebraska ball ranked, 23, 22, or like 24 in the net. Like, I mean, God, everything Dave has ever dreamed of is coming together for Nebraska ball.
Oh, yeah.
Just think you got ranked Nebraska ball and Indiana football is number one in the country. This is like the sixth seal opening up here.
I'm really starting to like this timeline, at least for
dogs and cats living together in mass hysteria at this point.
Our pets' heads are falling off. Let's go.
Yeah. There you go. Dogs and cats living together. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, where are we going first?
I don't know, Abby. I'm gonna get 100% credit to Abby. She put together tonight's show, and I'm gonna let her take it while I go run and grab my charger for my computer because it's about dead, and I realized I didn't plug it in. So
well prepared, Rob.
Yeah. So that's professional.
That's me. I'm 100% professional. So you can just stare at the background of my computer here.
Yeah. So Dave, you mentioned it and kind of mentioned it in terms of Nebraska, but I think starting even bigger, the coaching carousel has finally, the head coaching carousel, I should say, has finally started to slow down and maybe kind of creak to a stop after, I don't know, when was the first coach that got fired? Week 7? Was James Franklin the first one? And was apparently
no.
Oh, it was
UCLA would have got fired first, didn't he?
Week 3, I believe, they fired Deshaun Foster.
That's right. I knew there were a couple early on, but
Yeah.
so they've all so week 3 to now the week before the playoffs or the bowl games start. I don't know. Schedules don't mean anything to me. Time has no meaning. And it looks like most of the head coaching jobs, if not all the head coaching jobs, are full. If you believe one of the rumors that we've seen, that there may be a big one opening up soon. But so we'll go through.
What's that, Abby? What's the juicy one on there? Tell me what.
Well, the rumor is that Notre Dame football coach Marcus Freeman is going to the NFL this year. We'll see. I know there's a lot of people hoping for that, and maybe some Notre Dame fans hoping it doesn't happen. But so far, I've just seen one tweet about it, and it's
It
just
couldn't
like
happen to a better school.
But boy, he's going to be mad when the AFC North doesn't advocate for him getting into the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's gonna be tough.
Yeah. And he doesn't get paid as well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. So that's just a rumor for now. We'll keep an eye on it. But of
You're
the
not
coaching
starting
jobs, so we've got like Ole Miss, right? Lane Kiffin didn't get fired. He just took his sweet time deciding when he was going to leave. So they filled
took his
that
coaching
position.
staff with him.
Some of them, yeah. What a mess.
And they've gone back now. They are LSU employees, but they're coaching for Ole Miss. It's very odd.
Yeah.
Well, but they hired Pete Golding, to your point, Abby, right?
They did. And where was Pete Golden from?
He was their defensive coordinator.
That's right. That's right.
Internal promotion.
Okay. Kent State. I have a list here. Sorry. So Kent State
fire
fired.
away. Let's go rapid fire.
They fired Kenny Burns, hired Mark Carney. I don't.
Might be the first time we mentioned Kent State on the show, so I'd like to just welcome all of our Kent Golden Flash viewers and listeners. So.
Stanford fired Troy Taylor and hired Tavita Pritchard, who I think is a former player for them, if I remember that correctly. UCLA, right, fired Deshaun Foster, hired Bob Chesney, which doesn't sound like a UCLA name, but let's go. Another JMU guy.
Any relation to Kenny?
Let's just assume so. I'd like him to be.
Okay.
So. Yeah, probably. Yes, Rob. We're going to say it definitively. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Breaking news.
Virginia Tech fired Brent Pry, hired James Franklin, who then rehired Brent Pry as his defensive coordinator. So
it's a good hire.
It really is. It's like Vance Joseph is now the defensive coordinator for the Broncos and he was the head coach prior to that.
Like it, Rob, but I get your.
It's exactly like it, Dave. Just go with it.
We're trying here.
Yeah,
that's a good attempt, Rob. I personally think that's the win. I think Virginia Tech won this year. That's my personal opinion, but that's okay. Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy, hired Eric Morris of North Texas. Oregon State, the other OSU, fired Trent Bray, hired Jamarcus Shepard, who was an Alabama assistant head coach. Arkansas fired Sam Pittman, hired Ryan Silverfield from Memphis. Penn State fired James Franklin, and 54 days later got their absolutely first choice and not their whatever X choice, Matt Campbell from Iowa State, which was a little shocking, and I think we can talk about that if we want. UAB fired Trent Dilfer, hired Alex Mortensen. Florida fired Billy Napier, hired John Summerall. Northern Colorado fired Jay Norvell, hired Jim Mora from UConn.
That's actually Colorado State. Northern Colorado is still, Ed Lamb is still their head coach.
Well, thank God.
Thank God. He improved them this year. They almost beat Colorado State. Let's be clear about that. But bad.
I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm just looking at symbol or like the whatever.
It's all right. It's all right.
Sorry about that, Colorado fans. Thank you. LSU fired Brian Kelly, hired Lane Kiffin. That should be interesting. Auburn fired Hugh Freeze, hired Alex Golish, who is from
South Florida.
USF. Got that name. Yep. Cal fired Justin Wilcox, hired Josh Lupoy, who was an Oregon defensive coordinator. North Texas.
I hate that.
This is insane. North Texas fired Eric Morris and hired Neil Brown, which we'll see. Maybe he'll do better at a smaller school. Yep. UConn, I don't think some of these aren't fired. So let me just caveat that. I'm going to say fired. They're not all fired. I understand
all
that.
These younger ones. Yeah. Jim Mora, right. And he went to Colorado State. They hired Jason Candle from Toledo. Michigan State fired Jonathan Smith, hired Big Ten favorite Pat Fitzgerald. Should be fun.
Coastal Carolina fired Tim Beck, has not hired a replacement yet. Kentucky fired Mark Stoops and hired Oregon offensive coordinator Will Stein. USF, right, Alex Golish left. They hired Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline. Tulane, right, John Summerall left. They hired Will Hall. Memphis, Ryan Silverfeld left. They hired Charles Huff. Kansas State, Chris Kleinman retired, and they They hired Colin Klein, which is super fun that that Kleinman left and Klein came in. That's not confusing at all. Right, Iowa State, Matt Campbell left, and they hired Jimmy Rogers from Washington State. Washington State has not replaced Jimmy Rogers yet. JMU replaced Bob Chesney with Billy Napier. And that's the head coaching cycle, guys. So a couple teams still open. And that doesn't even include the coordinators who are going all over the place.
I should have waited to shave my head until we started this show because I could have done it while you were giving that list.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That was a lot.
I could have had my morning constitution in that time. My Lord.
And the best part is every one of them is an A+ home run higher for each one of those programs.
Yes.
That's the amazing
thing. That took nearly the better part of 10 minutes to go down that entire list. I just want to be clear about that. After I started, when she started reading it, I looked at the time. We were at right around like a minute and a half or 2 minutes into the show at least, and then she started reading that, and here we are 12 minutes
podcast gold, Rob. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Boomer, I kid you not, CBS Sports, which I used for this list, the lowest grade is a C.
Yeah,
lowest
great
grade is
inflation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's okay. It's like between
great inflation. Yeah, it happens at the IVs. It happens in college coaching grades. So
CBS
nothing
Sports
new.
gives out the weirdest grades on everything they have. The only thing they ever get right is when they grade like any of the teams I root for, because they're all Fs. So yeah,
sometimes they just make it too obvious, Rob.
Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is at that point.
Yeah.
I mean,
do any of those hires stand out for any of you? Like, is there one you'd say this was a great move by that school?
Yeah, Mora at CSU, I think, is actually going to be a great hire. I think that shocked a lot more people than anything, at least locally here. Like, I'm friends with like the local sports news guy here for it's KFKA. They carry all of the sports stuff here in northern Colorado, and Brady Hall, who runs that show, does a great job. He's award winning, all that other stuff, but he thinks it is going to be great. So yeah, Dave's whistling over there at the dog or something.
Just waiting for you to finish, Rob. That's
Sorry there, Dave.
Yeah, I do agree. Mora seems to be an interesting hire. He is 64, I want to say, so a little bit on the older side, but it's all right. It looks like he has a lot of energy left. Honestly, if Penn State took forever, but I don't think Matt Campbell's a bad hire.
No,
I think that might actually be a good fit. He's waited a long time. He's essentially turned down or waited out a lot of stuff. He's done more with Iowa State over a period of time that no one has ever done, with significant disadvantages to him. I think with support around him, he's a good culture builder. I think he's okay. I mean, he's produced a lot of NFL talent. There's NFL quarterbacks that went through him, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. The whole offense is that. I mean, like, and those were not NFL caliber recruits when he got them. So he's doing something right.
He's figured out a way to beat Iowa.
The Kiffin thing was weird to me. I really felt like he was going to stay at Ole Miss for some reason because he had drug it out so long. And then it's also weird that, I mean, they made the playoff, and then, it's like, if they really wanted him, he could have been like, I'll come, but I'm going to, make you wait until Ole Miss plays their playoff game, or multiple playoff games. So that's disappointing. We have a wacky schedule right now with signing days and transfer portal windows and all that type of stuff. So it's unfortunate all that stuff has to happen. I don't know if he's going to be any better off at LSU than he was at Ole Miss, though.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not like home run hire. I'm just kind of whelmed with the Matt Campbell hire.
Whelmed.
Like, I think I'm very whelmed. Yeah, I'm in Europe. I think if they had gone after him right away, there would have been, I think, more of this idea of like, what are we doing here? Because the idea of like you got rid of James Franklin, in at least part because he can't win big games, right? Like that's at least part of why they got rid of him.
Mhm.
And you bring in Matt Campbell, who I think Matt Campbell's a great coach. I'm with
Have
you
you
guys
seen
all.
his record
Great
versus
job,
top
Iowa
10?
State. Yeah, he's got a very similar record against ranked teams. He's never won the Big 12, which, okay. It just kind of feels like this is who you fired James Franklin for kind of hire. Like he might be great. He might be a perennial 8-9 win team coach.
It might be
what
like
I mean?
the Spider-Man meme where they're just pointing at each other.
It could be. I don't know. I've seen so many like Penn State fans. Not initially. It's come, right? I think there's some coping that's coming. That's fair. That's totally fine. I'm not going to dog them for it because we've all done it. But like, there's some of them who are like, "This is a home run hire," and I'm like, "Is it?"
Yeah, I don't know
your
if it's a home
last-
run hire, but I mean, considering how long, I mean, they missed on multiple. When I say I'm
Agreed.
all right with Matt Campbell, it's like I don't think it's a bad
Yeah.
fit for them per se, right?
No, I agree. I don't think it's a
And-
bad hire. I just don't think
and-
it's like the hire that their fans are making it out to be. Personally, I've been wrong before. So
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough. I'm not saying it's a home run hire either. I'm just saying, like, in the long term, when they waited 54 days, they didn't get Bill Callahan. They got Matt Campbell, right? We got Bill Callahan after 54. And it was a very odd fit, right? But if you told me Matt Campbell was high on Penn State's board, maybe not number one, but somewhere within the realm of possibility, I would believe you because he's actually a pretty good fit, right? He's a Midwest guy. He's wanted to coach in the Big Ten at one of the high-level conference teams, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not shocked. I don't know. And I'd also say, like, UCLA basketball, like a couple of years ago, went through a very painful search. You remember they hired Mick Cronin? Everyone's like, Mick Cronin, that's horrible. And he's great at UCLA. It ends up being an awesome hire. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Boomer, what about you? Anything stands out to you? You're muted.
no. No, he's not.
muted. He's
There we go.
muted.
Yeah, now we're there.
Oh.
Yeah, podcast pros here. But yeah, I thought Bob Chesney would actually get more of a sniff from a bigger name school than UCLA. I thought a lot of people would kind
that's
of
a
look
great
at
hire
him as
by
like a
UCLA.
Signetti 2.0. I mean, he kind of is in a lot
Mhm.
other than age, but I mean, he's got kind of a similar background, a lot of success at a lot of smaller programs like, the Assumption Greyhounds and Holy Cross and, kept James Madison chugging along. He took over that program and had him 12-1 again this season. So
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised at a bigger school. I thought Penn State would honestly, take a swing at him, but they didn't, and he's at
Especially later in the
UCLA.
game. Sure.
So it'll be kind of interesting to see sort of, where they go, how he does there, because they've got huge NIL challenges that I don't think Indiana has. Well, they don't. They have, Cuban money there. But, yeah, UCLA, we'll see what they do, what kind of support they give him. But I think he could be a good hire for a school like that. So
No, good call.
I'll be interested to see how those two coordinators from Oregon do. And
think
I guess
Tosh
Brian
Lapaz is a
Hartline,
good
that'll be
hire by
interesting
Cal.
as well.
Really good
Yeah.
hire. I like Will Stein's pretty good too, actually.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And I think he's an SEC guy. So they've talked about how that's kind of a nice fit for him to go back there.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's all the hires.
that was good for coaching hires.
All
Can't
right.
say much
Well,
about
What
it.
about
go.
Nebraska? What about
Yeah, you get a season
Nebraska
out of it,
coaching
yeah.
hires?
We'll get to Nebraska, Dave. There's a method to the
Let's
madness.
go.
Start big, come in. Let's go.
I mean, we fired both our O-line, and today they announced they fired the D-line coach, right? So they haven't announced who they're bringing in for that, but for offensive line, we already hired a coach. For defensive coordinator,
We
we
throw
already
some
hired
names
a
out there,
coach.
Rob, opposed to just
Because my mind is drawing a blank, Dave, and I've been sick for the
got
last
you.
week. So
I've
all
got
right.
you, Rob.
Let's
Don't
let
worry.
Abby handle the names for you, Rob.
yeah, thank you.
Staff changes at Nebraska. Butler out. Orich, is that how you pronounce it?
I
Let's
think
go.
it's
Jack Orrick?
Oric, I think. Either
Oric.
one.
Orich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got time to learn. Orich in at DC, and it sounds like he's going to be here for the bowl game.
Yes, so they said.
Nice.
Yes.
All right. Offensive line Raiola out. I want to be very careful there. And is it Jeep Wade? Geep Wade? I don't know. I call him Meep. I just call him Meep Wade. But in as our new O-line coach. And then, yeah, Terry Braden out. We haven't filled in our D-line coach yet, but there's a lot of talk, a lot of rumor of the guy
Yes.
from LSU.
Well, briefly at LSU for like half an hour and a handshake.
Like a
but
minute,
he was,
yeah.
Elijah Robinson, I
Yes.
believe. you were
Elijah
referring
Robinson.
to,
Thank
That's
you,
who we
Dave.
were- Yep.
was on Rule's big board when he first got hired.
And I think he was with Rule at Temple, wasn't he? I believe. Didn't he?
Yeah, and
Sit on
Baylor.
staff
And then
in Baylor,
he,
yep.
when Rule got hired a couple years ago, Robinson was the D-line coach at A&M, and Rule made a run at him, but he stayed at A&M for reasonable. Got the actual DC at Syracuse, which is ironic because then Syracuse hired the Toledo DC, who we all thought Rule was going to hire last weekend. But he didn't want to get demoted, so he was going to go to LSU, and then Rule got him to come to Nebraska. It sounds like.
So far, well, yeah, that one's
What
not.
I like about Robinson is his recruiting prowess.
Yes.
Excellent recruiter and deep connections down in Texas, I think. So I think what you're seeing here with Rule is that, with these hires, O-line coach, potentially D-line coach, even the DC, these are guys that are hungry, enthusiastic, and have deep recruiting ties and could potentially get transfer guys to come with them or have been recruiting, guys that went somewhere else but now are in the portal and can go reconnect and fill up the coffers. So.
Yeah, I think the new O-line coach, when he came in, they automatically, like within the same day, one of his top offensive linemen went into the transfer portal, right? So you can only assume that he's probably going to be one of those pieces that we talked about last week, Dave, where we need to sign like 10 guys or so, pay them a lot of money.
Impact.
Yeah, and and also I know for a fact that that's a priority right now within the athletic department in those NIL dollars, is that we are kind of hunting for some really big names right now. And I'll just leave it at that. But I did get some pretty good confirmation that we could see some pretty big splash players being signed in the offseason this year.
So we got a question here about, are these good coaching moves for Nebraska so far? So
we win the offseason, Jay. Of course they're good coaching moves.
They're all home run hires. Once again, I mean, each and every one.
A
of them.
plus pluses.
And they're replacing the A+ hires that were the last guys we hired that all had home runs. So that's how it works. I mean, really, on paper, they all look like decent coaching moves, assuming we, sign them all. And they do seem to address some glaring needs that the program had. The defensive line, certainly took a step back this season. The offensive line, there were questions, although they seem to be improving by the end of the year. But maybe we're just going a different route with what they plan to do on the offense. So maybe they did feel it was time for a change of some sort to a coach with a different skill sets or something like that. Again, you can't really grade these things until, a year or two in and see how they've really performed and what they've been able to accomplish. And my only real concern is
in 1 year, Boomer, because Rule graded as DC.
Well, that is true. Yeah, you can figure that out after a year, or a few games. But
yeah.
My only concern is with the offensive line coach. When you're named after, Gideon Pello, one of the worst Civil War generals of all time, that's tough. So I'd go by Jeep too. But I mean, that's my only real concern so far with the hires. So
it's been 627 days since a historical reference.
Yep, on the Redcast. Yep.
Yes.
I mean,
we're versatile here, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can at least question his parents, but you can't blame him on that one, right?
Well, I hope not. We'll have to look.
That's
and see
genetics,
if he legally
right?
changed
So,
his name. I don't know, but So,
yeah.
odds are good.
It's
Fair enough.
fantastic.
So I would say that, Rob, you just mentioned that, we may be seeing, a fair amount of transfer portal players come in.
Yeah.
From a coaching thing, I kind of think about the Signetti success at Indiana and his idea or mantra of production over projection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he got guys, whether it was from JMU or other places, that had proven to produce, and opposed to just like what's the potential of a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think with a couple of these hires here, we're hiring other Power 5 coaches or up and coming, highly regarded a DC from San Diego State that has been moving up quickly, very quickly. And so there's production there in those records. And I think that's what we're anticipating, is that these guys produce quickly.
So I have a question for you, Dave, because a lot of the players that he brought over with him from James Madison were upperclassmen, right? And now we're still seeing James Madison's making the playoff, right? So, like,
right,
it just goes to show, like, the development that he has at least from JMU, I assume that a lot of those kids that are playing right now are leftovers, obviously, from his coaching.
Yeah, most of
there.
them. Yeah, upperclassmen now would be still Signetti guys. Yeah,
yeah, they would still be. Yeah, so that's kind
But-
of interesting to look at from a developmental standpoint for Indiana.
Yeah, and this is again why I don't believe that just because we're hitting the transfer portal heavy this year, we can't say that we're a developmental program in the future, right?
Yeah.
You just have to be able to get into that mode, right?
Yeah, we've got 90-something freshmen,
very young,
redshirt freshmen, and sophomores right now. So
you need to buy time for those kids.
Yes, yeah, get them in when you can, but develop them off the field and or like outside of the games. Absolutely. Right, Abby, what we got next?
Well, that was it. I was just gonna keep no.
Well,
Well,
all right. Well, and that's our Go Big Redcast.
That's it. Have fun, everybody.
GBR.
No. So we're talking about. I mentioned kind of that some of our coaches are coming in to coach our bowl game, which is kind of a segue. I don't know. We'll pretend it's a segue into the postseason, which is starting up. I don't know when is the very first bowl game.
Would that be scarlet
bowl game
colored
is next week.
glasses?
And actually, the 13th, I believe.
Would you call
The
that
LA
scarlet
Bowl?
colored glasses, Dave?
Is it the scarlet color? Are we on that? Sure.
All right, let's do some scarlet colored glasses. We have a little bit of we could talk national, but if we don't want to do that, then we can just go straight into.
Oh, we're not in the playoffs. We can talk about whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can talk about whatever we want. Yeah.
We got
The
time.
LA Bowl, I believe, is the very first bowl game. I think that's this weekend, which is really weird, right? It's like Boise State, Washington State, or something like that.
That's this weekend?
Yeah,
Is it
look up.
before the? Isn't the Army
Navy
game?
is obviously the big game this weekend, which is tradition, even though it's moved back to but I swear to God, I've seen the LA Bowl somehow. And then
the Bucked Up LA Bowl is Saturday, December 13th. Boise State and Washington.
Yeah, that's what Dave said.
Yeah.
Go,
Can
Dave.
Can you
Yeah.
imagine playing in a bowl? And I'm going to
Boise
say this, and I
State
know it's
just
going to
played
sound really
last
silly given the history. But so you just played, but also your season you got into the postseason, and your season is entirely done December 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's insane. Why is it so early? Why that's that? I mean, because we have to have more time for
yeah,
playoffs.
You
I
have
get
to have
it.
48
Right.
bowls, so yeah, you've got to
Yeah,
start.
playoff teams that will lose their first round game, and they'll be done on the 19th or 20th.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Besides Christmas
it's just crazy.
It's Hanukkah too, starting this weekend, and there's a lot of Jewish kids on the Boise State and Washington teams, so they want to make sure they're home in time for the
Well, they're
holidays.
playing in LA too,
Yes.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
strong Jewish
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, my last name's Steinberg. Just for our listening, I'm not taking any shots at any specific people here. I'm very well and do celebrate Hanukkah. So
All right,
So Nebraska though. So obviously we didn't make the playoffs. I mean, I just think the Big Ten didn't rally hard enough for us. We are clearly like, come on, everybody would watch us. Fine.
Yeah.
Instead, we'll be facing Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl, and that is on New Year's Eve, right? December 31st at like
Mhm.
2:30 Central Time, something
Yep.
like that.
early afternoon.
yeah, early afternoon.
Plenty of time to hit the buffets after the game. Yeah.
So much time. Yep.
Rule says we will have the largest attendance ever for that bowl at that game. That's what he said.
I'm guessing the numbers in the past aren't that high to
Yeah,
reach. It's
I'm
probably a pretty
telling
low
you.
bar,
Guys,
but
this is the
yeah,
first
I'll
year
look
for
into
them.
it. Yeah.
We'll have, I mean, it's a great stadium. I don't know if anybody's ever been inside there, but if you're a Husker fan going,
I mean, that's just.
I mean, just the stadium itself, though. I mean, if you took out all of the other stuff that has to do with that team that I don't talk about on the show, it's a very cool stadium to go visit. And I do recommend at least taking the tour if you get there early enough before the game. If you can pay. Yeah, that place it's super cool as far as modern stadiums go. I'll leave it at that. Just cool. They give you like a look at how they bring the field in and out, because it's actual grass being grown in there, and they wheel the field in, and it's pretty cool. It's very cool.
Yes, your prior attendance record for the Las Vegas Bowl was set December 21st, 2006, when BYU played Oregon, and they got 44,000 to show up for that. So.
Oh yeah, we got that.
Pretty good.
Stadium hold.
So, what are our chances in said Las Vegas Bowl?
Well, that depends. Are we going with the Las Vegas odds or Redcast Rob odds? Because
Well, which one do I get the better? Yeah, what?
I don't know. Right now,
payout.
Odds are what, 26.5?
Well, we've got 3 weeks to turn around this defensive line. So
that's true. Yeah, that should be a piece of cake. Yeah.
Stop the
There's
run.
one you can learn in 3 weeks. Yeah.
Stop the run, win the game. There you go. It's easy as that.
And like I said, maybe half of Utah will opt out, and that
It
could
is a
probably
chance
help
to-
too. Yeah. But yeah, on paper, this
It is a chance to be the right team.
Yeah, this is a rough matchup for Nebraska. I mean, it was a tough draw. You know, Utah, I think, are they the top Power 4 running team, I think, or is second? I believe they're behind
Second or
Navy, I
something.
know. But yeah, that's going to be a tough one. They've got a couple of really good offensive linemen that'll probably be in the NFL next year, so maybe they'll both opt out. And yeah, I think they average 6 point something yards a carry.
6.7 or 6.8.
Yeah, so that's on paper. It's a bad.
We
matchup
got
for
this.
them. Yeah.
We got
Especially
this.
with Emma Johnson, not playing. Now, Rule did say today he doesn't expect any other starters to miss the game. I mean, Spindler's out for surgery, with a hand injury, so he won't be able to play. So
And he declared for the draft anyway, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And he couldn't play anyway with hand surgery. So, the offensive line is going to be thin again. So,
Yeah.
I guess, we'll just see what happens, and we'll see if Latif is healthy and ready to go and where that gets you. I don't know. So, just go and have fun with it, I guess.
I mean, for all we know, our backup running backs might be superstars. Maybe
they're plenty
better
fresh.
They might be better than Emmett Johnson, and we just didn't know
Rob.
it
I like
because they've been
the positivity.
They're certainly well rested.
Yes,
they certainly didn't go to a whole lot of
definitely.
carries this year. So,
yeah. So it's.
But I just say I'm not putting money down on Nebraska for this bowl game. Yeah, it's just.
No.
Yeah, I am disappointed. Jamarian Parker went to the portal. He's probably our most talented back that we have.
He got hurt, right?
Yeah, he barely played this year.
Yeah.
He was injured, but now he's in the portal. Now he might. I mean, it doesn't
Might
mean
come
he's
back.
gone at this point, right? But
Maybe he's going to pull an Emmett Johnson, be back next year, and
Yeah,
lead
there's
the
still a
team in
possibility.
rushing.
Yeah, there's precedent, so it can't happen.
CBS gives Nebraska an A+ chance of winning.
Yep, that's a good comment from Jay there. Yep, he's all over it. So,
he-
let's hear it for Jay and CBS. So, yep.
Yes. Thank you for watching the entire show. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe not the best matchup, but it's an indoor. But it's being played inside, right? An indoor stadium, and we are an indoor sports school now.
Yeah.
I mean, our indoor sports are like 51-0. So
I see where you're going, Abby. I see where you're going.
you like that? You like that little
Yeah.
what?
Good
Yeah,
segment.
Get on that. So the next, So, I mean, unless there's other things to talk about with football, I think we're kind of all in a place where we're like, who knows? Not high expectations. It'll be nice to see some of the young kids come out, and who knows, right? And then we just got to get through portal season.
Yep. And we'll be and again, like I said, we'll win the off season without question, and it should be great. But yeah, and I do just want to give a shout out to the playoff committee to be in the complete dumpster fire. I think of all playoff committees, did they completely botch this?
No, I think they got it perfect. Screw Notre Dame, man. Get a conference.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't even care about Notre Dame in the conference. It's just, how are you going to have them ahead of Miami every freaking poll or every one of your rankings until the very last one when neither of them play, and then you decide to flip it? I mean,
And why is Alabama? Why is Alabama in it?
Because you can't. What was the tweet you put out, Boomer?
Yeah, Boomer, go ahead.
Well, yeah, we joked ahead of time before it that they were going to come out and probably say something like BYU gets blown out in their conference championship game, so they must be dropped, and then turn around 5 seconds later and say, well, you can't punish Alabama for getting blown out in a conference title game. And he straight up went up and did that. I couldn't believe
He
it.
literally said the
Right out.
Yeah, he literally said that. I mean, he didn't quite say it just back to back. He had a bunch of blather in between, but they straight up said and did that. That was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And, I guess, when you look at it and you
put
get
it all in red.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get, conferences get so much money for all the teams being in the playoffs. I think the SEC gets $20 million just for having 5 teams in the playoff. And I'm sure it all worked out fine. It's perfectly natural that the spokesman for the playoff committee happens to be the athletic director of Arkansas. So I'm sure it's all on the up and up. And this whole thing is such a disaster. I never thought I'd be in favor of the Big Ten's automatic playoff model with 4 AQs for all the Power Fives, but that makes more sense than what we're doing now. And I'm kind of guessing you'd probably get ACC and Big 12 support behind that at this point. So I think that's probably more likely than not, or something very close to that, going forward.
I mean, I think it's interesting, Boomer, that it feels like the actual selection of Miami could have been justified with weeks and weeks of lead up, right?
Mhm.
But it's really everybody's up in arms not about the teams that got selected. It's how the committee did it, because it doesn't make any sense, because it took them until Miami and Notre Dame were side by side to be able to compare them. They weren't side by side, so we couldn't compare them against one another. And then they move Alabama up, and then with BYU dropping, of course, to your point, Boomer, Alabama stayed where they are at. They could have slid back one, and then they would have been compared, or they could have, kept BYU where they're at, but they didn't. And it all works out that finally Notre Dame and Miami can get compared head to head. And then suddenly that game counts and they switch. And it's just like, it's baffling how they couldn't see how this is going to play out and get bad press out of it. It's just like, wow, are you that just tone deaf?
Not only
It's just
that,
a
but they have
player.
2 matchups in the first round of teams that have already played each other this year.
Yeah.
Like, make it interesting at least, right? Like, maybe have those teams meet in the second round if they win their first round game or something like that,
which
right?
would
Like,
make more sense. Yeah.
yeah.
But
I mean,
but again, it ensures a lot of SEC
maybe you
teams get
can't
to
with
advance
the-
on to the next level. And then,
Yeah.
God forbid, if
let's
A&M
give
wins
Ole
their
Miss
game,
Tulane, right? Yeah.
yeah, if A&M wins their game, they get to play Ohio State conveniently in Arlington, Texas. Weird how that happens. So it's just, this entire
3
setup
home
is just
games this
ridiculous.
year in SEC stadiums, right? Oregon's the only non-SEC school that has the home game. It's like,
This format that we have needs to end, and many rounds need to be on campus sites. You've got to be done with this bowl stuff and these neutral site games. I'll put that in air quotes.
and the opt-outs, not Notre Dame opt-out, K-State and Iowa State have opted out of bowls.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of teams that are Baylor, Central Florida. Someone like Scott Frost not to make a bowl game, but
some of those I kind of understand. Like I don't, but I kind of get why. Like, I don't know why K-State opted out. That was weird. I mean, I get it; their coach retired, but like,
if I was a player, I'd be like, I want to
Ole Miss is still playing.
Yeah, 100%. You're not opting out of
that. Yeah, I can get it. I just don't really agree with it. I'm glad. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad
CU opted out of a bowl game this year by just playing the season. So
that wasn't by choice. That was just by practice.
Yeah, and I think some of it, was, some of these teams were like the 5 and 7 teams that weren't planning to get a bowl bid, so they had already disbanded and gone home for the year, and people are, polishing their football helmets.
I love
quite a bit of that. So so I can see why a lot of teams just didn't want to bother to try to get everyone back and try to piecemeal a team together at the last minute to go play at the Tuna Helper Bowl in downtown Birmingham or whatever it is. I could see that not being exciting for a lot of players, but
I'm just calling it the Las Vegas Bowl, and I'm not adding whatever sponsor they have on it this year. Because
who is the sponsor this year? Anyone remember? Just Las Vegas, or what the heck?
I think it's the
No, it is SRS Distribution.
SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl.
So does anyone know what SRS Distribution does? I guess this is why you sponsor a bowl game, so we figure out.
Trucking, I believe, Boomer. You should know.
Yeah, I think it is trucking.
They are. Yep.
Sure.
They're the fastest growing distributor of building products. So serving the professional roofers contractors.
Oh, maybe they'll be bringing trucks in to build the A's new stadium while they're going to sponsor the game.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And we did have a good question, nationally from one of the listeners, Marty Honky, hated the way teams are selected, but perhaps in the future will force Notre Dame to join a conference. Well,
good luck.
Certainly won't be the ACC. I can probably imagine that's not going to happen. But.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and this is clearly not going to happen because I don't know. But so Notre Dame's out here saying the ACC doesn't respect us and all blah, blah, blah. We're not going to work with the ACC. Who's going to take you? Who's gonna continue to schedule?
You behave like that in public. Like who wants to be seen with you?
Wouldn't even be
the Big Ten. Penn State has
100%.
Yeah, the Big Ten.
Notre Dame has formed the Big Ten.
The value of Notre Dame is huge. They would.
It would have to be. Yeah, they wouldn't get the kind of deal they got with the ACC, where it's just certain sports.
No, they'd have to take them all.
It'd be all or nothing. But
yes,
Notre Dame has been the Big Ten's.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but if they would be willing to join the Big Ten completely, we would take Notre Dame. Not even a question.
Notre Dame has been the Big Ten's Daisy Buchanan for years. Yeah, they've been standing at the end of the dock with arms outstretched, trying to bring Notre Dame.
Geographically,
I love it, Boomer. That's a good one.
We're a well-rounded podcast here. We can cover all sorts of fronts.
Right.
Yeah, but geographically speaking, I mean, I can't think of a better place for them, really. So,
Big 12.
Maybe
A little bit.
I mean, they
too
wouldn't
far
fit
to
the
go.
SEC, so it's
No.
Big 10 or Big 12. That's it. So
Yeah.
or they make up at the ACC, but I don't know if that's possible. So
The classic matchup of Notre Dame versus Iowa State. You know.
At least it's in the Midwest. I mean,
That one's less weird than the classic matchup of Notre Dame and Central Florida.
yeah, Utah,
Yeah.
things like that. It just doesn't quite. Yeah.
Yeah,
What do I do
Ooh,
it for
but
anybody?
Notre Dame,
Notre
BYU.
Dame and
I mean, come on, Holy War 2.0.
put them in the Pac-12. Notre Dame and Oregon State.
Yeah, who else
Every
is?
year.
Yeah, whoever's joining the Pac-12, the future one. I don't know. Yeah. Just as well. I mean, they used to play USC all the time, so that's nothing new for them. Trips out to the West Coast, so why not? So.
They play Purdue often. You know,
Michigan
they already
State,
play a
they
bunch
play
of Big Ten.
So how many teams? How many teams would that put if they join the Big Ten? That would put what 19
19
teams,
yeah.
right? Do
Yeah,
they
you
add
might as well
one
make it as
more?
hard
To
as possible.
do they add one more to round it out, or do they?
Probably.
You know,
You'd think you would, but God only knows where they're going.
And who would
20-team
it be?
conference, yeah.
who would it be?
Abby, get us back on track.
Yeah, we've gone completely off.
Yeah, I can't. We're too far gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, look, that's one postseason. That's one sports postseason. And we could try the segue again, but I'm not going to. Instead, we're going to do some courtside cooking.
Thank you for finding that.
You are so welcome. I know it says tweets of the week on the picture, but
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good. You're good. It got me confused too.
Yeah.
So we'll talk some volleyball because postseason volleyball is happening right now across the country. Nebraska, #1 overall seed, had 2 matches this weekend. They played Long Island University, based out of Long Island, which is shocking to some people, on Friday. And then they played Kansas State the next night, swept both of them. I don't know if you guys watched, but the first game of the first set of the Kansas State game I heard was completely unwatchable. Thank you, ESPN Plus, which first 2 rounds were on ESPN Plus. So if you didn't have access to that,
problem it was.
that's what. Yeah. So I went. I got credentialed to go, and I'll go back. I'm going back again this weekend. So people kept texting me, and they were like, "This is awful," and I'm like, wait, why? No, it's great. I mean, it's not. We didn't play well, but it's. What are you talking about? And then rewatching it was like, oh no, this is.
Yeah, it was. It sounded like 2002 cell phone call driving through Nebraska.
Just
That's being generous, Rob. Actually,
Yeah. I had 3 different games on that I was watching at the time, so I just muted it and turned up the volume. I think it was on like Northern Colorado men's basketball or something, which I don't know. And then I decided from there that I was just going to actually do the sync it up with the Husker radio broadcast for the volleyball game, which ended up being fantastic. So.
Yeah. I heard that even that was tough, that first set, because the ESPN broadcast kind of jumped all over the place. But broadcast issues aside, not super surprising. Nebraska just completely overwhelmed Long Island. It was like 25-11, 25-15, 25-17. I think Andy Jackson hit, let me find it because it was kind of an obnoxious number. She hit an 833 that game. And Rebecca hit a 750.
Yeah. I will say this, though, that Long Island team was more entertaining than half the Big Ten teams out there. I mean, they played really, really hard. Like, I'm not trying to be condescending or anything in that way, but they did. They played very hard. Their outside hitters were really fun to watch. They were very athletic. They ran into Nebraska, blockers a lot, but at the same time, when some of the kills that they did make they were fantastic. Some of those players seems like they could transfer and play at bigger schools, right? Like they just
and it's really interesting because that coach had only been their coach for like 100 days or something outrageous. Like he was brand new to them this season and late into the season, coming on to them. So I think they like started 0-6 or 0-4. Something they did not start well their season. Yeah. So them to be able to win their conference and get to this game, and they were great. They were all really nice. They were great ladies, great young ladies. That we'll see how they go in the future and how they do next year. But
yeah, it was entertaining. That was my point, right? Like just to watch their style of volleyball, and just just the amount of enthusiasm. They never looked defeated out on the court, right? Like they played until the very end, even when I think like at one point they went on like a little 3 or 4 point run in the third set to, bring it within 12. But I mean, still, it was like, it was a lot. I don't know. I guess I've been able to kind of notice different styles teams play, right, with their and they just kept going back to their outside hitters a lot and sticking with it and doing what they knew how to do. And that's really the only way you can win, whether the team you're playing against is better than you or not. You stay with your system and you try your best. And it was, like I said, it was just really entertaining.
Yeah, they were fun. Yeah, I agree. So Long Island then ended their season. They were 20-9 on the season, 15-1 in their conference, which is great. And then the next day we took on the Kansas State Wildcats, which was a little less decisive. I mean, it's still a sweep. It was still 3-0. I think even if you look at the point spreads, it wasn't like it doesn't seem like it, right? So we won 25-17, 25-21, 25-16, and you would think with like scores like that wouldn't be a great game, but we hit one of our lowest. I mean, it was one of our lowest games. We hit it at 253, which is very low for us. We're usually
very
about
low.
300. I
was gonna say, don't we like average around like 346 or something on the season or something like that? If I recall.
Like that.
I just heard an announcer say something like that in the game. So
yeah, typically when the other games where we've been hit, I mean, our set 2 in there, that 25-21, we hit at a 139, which the other times we've hit that low, we went to 5 sets. So this is clearly a place where we were just the better team and we're able to kind of grit it out against them. But you fear if we hit that poorly again, that
against a better team,
it could be a little more stressful. Now I'm going to give Kansas State their due. They played great defense. It was really hard for us to get stuff on the ground just because they were always there. And they were super motivated to come out and play. So this isn't just like, oh, they were bad and we should have played better. They played well. Their defense was really good. But we also just didn't play as well, I think, as we have been used to as a Nebraska fan. So we got a little challenged in that match, but came out with the win.
Yeah. I mean, dominant. I mean, you play that poorly and you still sweep the team on the other side. Yeah.
Like
we've been talking about all year for Nebraska volleyball, basically.
Yeah. My favorite part, by the way, of that is in the post game. I was going to try to get a video and I couldn't. Somebody asked Danny if she has any concerns, any worries about the team moving forward, given the performance. And her answer was a very direct and succinct, nope. Which I really, really love. That's one of the things I think that's so great about Danny and probably so different about Danny and John is she just knows and she's not afraid to say how good this team is. So we all thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. And a reminder, in case anybody's paying attention, we are the second match on Friday evening, 30 minutes after the first game versus Kansas. So,
yep. And then Sunday we would play the winner of Texas A&M and Louisville, who was the first game on Friday.
Can we also talk about that first round format? Like it was so confusing. Like you would think that they would play Thursday, Saturday, Friday, Sunday, right? And somehow they managed to screw that up. And the Thursday teams played again on Friday, but the Friday teams who hadn't played yet played on Friday and then played again on Saturday. I don't know. There's just, come on, put some respect on it, ESPN, for Christ's sake. Get it together, NCAA. You can't.
You didn't having 5 games start at the same time?
No, not at all. Quite frankly, I was trying to decide. I don't like in a format like that where it's a sport that is picking up momentum in on a national stage, and you have an opportunity to take a look at a lot of different teams and maybe a lot of potential matchups for the team you're rooting for, regardless of who you're rooting for, right? And then you run into a situation where not only are the streams screwing up, but you can only watch it on ESPN Plus, and they all start at the exact same time, and then they don't even give you a multi-screen view like say the NFL does for Sunday ticket or whatever it is, right? So it's really frustrating. Because really there's only a few ways you can get ESPN Plus, which is by subscribing to ESPN, having a Hulu subscription, or Disney Plus or something like that, I think is what they have. So I don't know. I'm just expressing my frustration with it because it was a real opportunity for them to gain momentum on a sport that's already gaining momentum, and they couldn't even get like the number one team in the country's broadcast right. So screw you.
It's
SCPN.
Yeah, it's been a complaint for a while of this, like, hey, we're really glad you're at least, you're like putting some of these games on, but why are you putting it on ESPN Plus when there's nothing going on some of those other ESPN channels? Like, at least the second, the round of 32, right? The second games, you'd think like what was on ESPNU, I don't know, cornhole tournaments. Like, no offense to our cornhole enthusiasts or bag enthusiasts, whatever we're calling it. But you've got like top level teams, and so why is that not being on? I think that's a very. I mean, there's coaches, and Kelly Sheffield was one of the big ones who was just like, yeah, you can do better. ESPN should do better with that and give us actual access to it. But I will say they did have the fifth set, which is kind of a wraparound show like they do for basketball. That was kind of neat. I really enjoyed that in those early games, just when there were so many playing at the same time.
Like the NFL Red Zone for.
Yeah. I thought that was a nice addition. Even though I don't love those commentators, but it was nice to have that because then you could kind of go and you usually got to see the last couple points of a set. They'd kind of stick with you and show how that went. But yeah. So that's it. So yeah, again, we play corgi races are always being shown. I think there was like I'm fairly certain there was like pogo stick competitions at one point. Yeah. So Nebraska, like I said, plays, I know. We play Friday night, the late game, and then we would then play again Sunday. My guess is probably like a 5:00 game or something like that, given that there's a basketball game before that at PBA. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm going again. So if people have questions or anything that they want me to ask Danny or the team, send them in. We'll see if we can get them asked.
Cool. Any surprises from this early rounds of the volleyball tournament? I mean, it seemed mostly to go to seed, but
Yeah, Cal Poly was the big shocker. They knocked off BYU, which really shouldn't have been surprising. BYU's just not been doing well the last half of the season, so that shouldn't have been surprising. But then they beat USC on their home court and knocked them off. I think USC was the only home team that lost, but that was pretty shocking. It was not shocking that Penn State got their butts absolutely kicked by Texas. Should not have been shocking to anybody. I kind of think that's it. I think everything else basically has gone shocking. They were ranked higher, but I think a lot of people were surprised that Kansas beat Miami. I think a lot of people thought that Miami with Flo Maria was going to just – she's another one who Olivia Babcock takes like 80 swings a game. She is their offense, and she's very good too. It's not like – so they win a lot, but so I think that was surprising to a lot of people, even though it technically was a chalk win. Going in, I'm thinking of like next week or this week, and Purdue is playing SMU. SMU is higher seeded, but Purdue beat them earlier this year. So we'll see. That could be a good one.
Who's Wisconsin, Creighton playing?
Creighton plays, I should know this. They're in Kentucky's region, but I don't think they play Kentucky.
I mean, they've won like 20 straight matches or something like that since they lost to the Huskers. They haven't lost a match, right?
Wow.
Yeah. They will play. Oh, Creighton, your schedule sucks. Arizona State. So
okay.
They'll play Arizona State in the Lexington Regional, and then winner of that gets probably Kentucky. I think Kentucky's playing Minnesota. So
Arizona State's pretty good too. I mean, they're not a terrible team.
Yeah. So Wisconsin Sanford is in the Texas Regional, which should be really good. Whoever wins that is going to give Texas a real run for their money. If Texas wins, I don't know who Texas plays. And then us, Kansas, Louisville, and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So that first round could have some. I don't even want to call them upsets because they're going to be a lot of evenly matched teams, but there could be some surprises, I think, in those rounds.
There's Nebraska and there's everybody else this year, right?
Yeah, if you didn't watch we did a Husker Huddle podcast with one of the guys from Evolve, and there's a volleyball stats website, and they kind of showed us that about just like how much better Nebraska volleyball is over everybody else. I mean, before the tournament started, they had a 55% chance of winning the national championship.
No pressure.
No, I don't think they're feeling pressure though. Those girls look so, they look so relaxed out there on the course. On the court. I'm thinking about golf. It's supposed to be 71 degrees here in Colorado on Thursday. I'm thinking about golf. But on the court, they looked really relaxed out there. Even in the last set against Long Island, we were playing a lot of reserves, right? So, and our reserves were going out there and they look like starters anywhere else. So, like we've been saying all season.
They're a fun team. They look like they enjoy being together and playing with each other. And I think you see that in their performance. I think at times, as much as we love John Cook and we'll always respect John Cook, I think at times they got a little tight under him. And I think under Danny, they play a little looser, a little freer, and they play with a little bit more joy for the game. And so we'll see. Maybe that'll be it. Maybe that's the secret sauce this year. Hope so.
Sure. Is that all we got for volleyball?
I need to take off, guys. So you guys should talk basketball.
We are.
That's the very next thing on our list, Dave.
Go beat Wisconsin and Illinois. We'll see. But I like the team a lot. I'm glad they're ranked. Let's see if they stay ranked. And GBR. See you guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Here, perfect time for this.
All right.
Oh, wait. Where did that go?
Look at the same time?
Yes, we did.
Oh, no.
Nebraska.
All
right. And I don't know who set this up, but man, my big bald head's sitting up here on the screen now. And I'm like the only one on the vertical. There we go.
We're all on the vertical. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Come on, Abby, figure it out. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, Husker basketball. Let's see. I think one's 9-0, the other one's 10-0 now. The women won tonight. What was that final score?
It was 87-35.
87-35. What was the what was the point spread on that game before it started?
It ranged between 54 and 62.5.
I don't think I've ever been a sport where the point spread was 60-some.5, anything over that. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah,
I would not have taken Nebraska with that. That's too many points. And I love
Alabama football favored by like 48 over like some like regional Christian school or something, but like I've never like seen it in basketball that big, right? Like that's insane. That's insane. So 9-0, we beat the crap out of Creighton.
Yeah, we did.
That was probably one of the more entertaining. Like I was a little nervous for that game going in. I knew Creighton is not the best team, but it was like, oh God, this is a game that we will lose, right? We're at home. Usually the road team in this series has the advantage recently. We're 2-1 in our last matchups, but they were both on the road at Creighton. We come in, we're 8-0. All the pressure's on us because, everyone's assuming if we win this game, we'll be ranked. The game started out a little bit slow for us, but as in every game that has started that way, it feels like we set the defensive tone before we set the offensive tone, right? And we talked about it last week on the show where I was, talking about how good the defense plays. We held Creighton to under, I think, 30% shooting. So I thought for sure that we would keep them to 28%. They hit a few shots at the very end that brought that up. But for the majority of the game, they were sitting around 28% shooting. They couldn't hit a three if they were standing in the ocean on a surfboard, and throwing it into the ocean. Nebraska ball came out and just started hitting them lights out. We shot like 35% from 3-point. Our free throw shooting might come back to bite us at some point throughout the season. I think we're only like 75% from the line right now as a team. It would be nice if Mast and Burke could get it together from the line, but you know, we're playing the kind of basketball we like to see. We're taking the outside shots when we have them, but we're dumping the ball inside when those aren't going down. And you know, it was fun to watch. Some of our best shooters had off nights, and we still came out there and we just, you know, depended on our big man to take over the game, and that's just kind of the way it ended, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and then
saw.
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Nope, go right ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think I had a similar feeling, Rob, of like I just didn't know how the game was gonna go. It felt like the type of game, like you said, that we would come in with these like high expectations and like should win, and then would just kind of crap the bed, which I think we've done in the past, right? Like sometimes our teams just don't show up. And I remember telling Dustin we were on the road for the first half and just listening to it. And it was just like, at some point, like Creighton's going to hit shots, right? Like at some point, they're going to start hitting and we're just going to lose this lead that we had. And I kept asking him, like, at what point do you feel comfortable beating this team? Like, are you comfortable that you're going to win? And he goes, if you're up 20 with 5 minutes to go, I think you'll be okay. And it was like, yeah, but you think? That's a lot of.
Yeah. Well, we've seen Nebraska ball give up leads like that, right? So, I mean, I kind of felt, and I will agree with Dustin. You let him know while he's watching Polar Express there in the background that I do agree with him that, you know, there was a point in the game where I looked up, I saw there was 5 minutes left, and I think we were like 15 up or something like that.
Yep.
And I'm like, but then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, this is not a time to panic. Like, this team is different than other teams. We saw them lock it down. Some of our best defensive plays came with under 5 minutes to go. We had some steals, we had some breakaways. And then what did we end up beating them by? 23, 22, 23? You know, so not only did we not give up that lead, we were up by like 20 at one point, and they hit a three. And what did we do? We came right back down the court, hit a three behind them. Right. So it was like, cool, let's exchange baskets for the rest of the game. That's fine. You know, chalk it up to another team held under 40% shooting for the game. I mean, I think I brought that up last week when we were talking about it and how this defense seems locked in. And in my brain, I was thinking while I was saying that, I was like, well, let's see how we do against a team like Creighton, right? That's supposed to be annually, or whatever you want to call it, one of the better teams in the country, right? They have one of the better coaches, and nope, like we not only did we hold them under 40, we basically held them under 30% for the game. So, I mean, they get all the applause in the world. That was a perfect opportunity for you there, Boomer, you know, with our new sound bites. But yeah, they get all the applause in the world from me, and I think from rest of Husker. We got these new sound bites, listeners, and you know, occasionally we'll try to work those in for your.
Yeah, it's going to be very occasionally, I think. Yeah.
Very occasionally, because we just listened to them before the show, and they already got on my nerves. So, yeah.
No, I think the big thing though with Husker basketball, it's kind of like we talked about last week. It's just winning this Creighton game is huge because that really kind of just seals your non-conference. I mean, you're basically undefeated in non-con. You've got a couple of games left, yes, but they are against, you know, scrub teams that you've, you know, just paid to win, coming off of, you know, a couple of Big Ten games. No offense to whomever they are, I can't even remember who they are. Then the last two games of the non-con schedule. So really, what you're shooting for now is just conference play. Can we beat, you know, Wisconsin at home? Can we get one against, you know, Illinois or who's after that, Michigan State, I think, in conference? Those aren't going to be easy. But the big thing, you know, if you can basically what we did, run the table in the non-con and you just finish 500 in the Big Ten, you know, you're looking at a decent seed in the NCAA tournament. The Big Ten is a nasty conference this year. It's going to be difficult. But, you know, you defend home court and steal a few here and there on the road, and you're in fine shape to get yourself a decent seed in the NCAA tournament. And maybe we're actually looking at – I'm not going to say it now. I'm not going to say it. Nope.
Don't even say it. But so to answer your question, we play Wisconsin, Illinois, and then after that we have our final two non-cons against North Dakota and New Hampshire, both at home. So 3 out of the next 4 are at home. So
yeah. Sorry,
Abby, go ahead.
Nope, I didn't have one. Just fun fact that I think it's been like 80 minutes since Creighton has had a lead on Nebraska.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Fantastic.
beautiful.
And also,
Our
I
schedule-
love that. Like, I just want to give a shout out. Kent Pavelka got a little shout out on Twitter from, I think, like just a college basketball on Fox account, and it's just like, oh, it's so nice that he deserves it. He's so great. But then the jokes about how like big week for sports commentators in basketball in the state of Nebraska, because of course John Bishop got roasted pretty hard for his horse crap play calling crap against Baylor. But as a known John Bishop hater, it made me really happy that our commentator is better than theirs.
You know what's funny is that I kind of heard that guy's name. I don't follow him on any social media. He might follow the Redcast. I have no idea. But I think what he's best known for is blocking people on social media. Like literally there's where one guy's like, we didn't even bring him up and we got blocked. And then like there's like 200 comments and they're all people just showing, oh, we're blocked. Yeah. It's like if you comment anywhere near or around him and you're a Husker fan, apparently, yep, Bill, he would block me. He has not blocked me yet. So John Bishop, if you're listening, bring it on, punk.
I've been blocked.
Well,
I got blocked.
Shocking, Abby.
Yeah.
Somebody and Vince Watson said something nice about you here, Abby. He said, now it's the Abby cast. At least y'all picked the photogenic one.
Which one?
We figured if we're having camera trouble on the little vertical, view.
Yeah, we won't do the vertical one anymore. We won't do it. It gave us an option and I didn't know and I picked both and I won't do it anymore. So I'm not allowed to push buttons and I'm not allowed to set up the
you're good at pushing buttons, Abby. Let me tell you. Yeah, I will say this though, is that I was rewatching last week's show at work, and one of my coworkers came up and she's like, "Who's that good-looking guy with that fancy mustache?" Yeah. She was Janice from accounting. She's like,
"Oh, all right. Hi, Janice. How you doing?"
How you doing? Yeah, I was like, he is married. All right, just back off. So. Yeah, and what about the women's team, Abby? Let's talk a little bit about them.
They're undefeated too. I don't know if
long hair don't care, right?
Long hair, yeah, free flowing hair. Britt Prince, we love our free flowing hair queen.
She's so good.
She's amazing.
So good.
She's really, really good. It's actually funny. So I think there's been 3 women's games since the last episode. Played Bradley on I think Wednesday. We played Penn State on Saturday. And then we just got done playing Omaha and won all 3, obviously. So we have a Big Ten conference win, and then a couple of our non-con wins again. And they've been good. I mean, as fun at times as like the men's team is, which they're so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I never feel like when I watch the women, I never have that feeling of like, okay, well, this is where we're gonna like. This is where the shoe's going to drop. I think we still have some of that PTSD with our men's teams that I just don't have for our women's teams. Like there was a point where we were down to Penn State and I was just like, oh boy, I don't know if we're going to win. Yeah,
we're going to win. Yeah.
And it just, that feeling of like, I just don't think a very serious feeling of like, I don't think we're going to win hasn't hit yet. And it will, because much like the men's side, the women's side of the Big Ten is stacked.
Yeah. There are 9 ranked teams for the women's team in the Big Ten in the top 25 right now, which is the most. It's a record, I think, for any conference ever. There's 9 ranked teams.
This is one of those years, I think, in men's and women's. If we're like in the top half, maybe the top quarter of the conference, that is a very good season. That is a phenomenal season. Yeah. So then the women are also ranked. I think they're 24th. 24th. We're still top 16 in the net rankings. Now, what that might change as the season goes on, but that's important because Amy has a goal of hosting one of the first rounds, of the tournament, and you have to be top 16 seed, I believe, for that, or top 16 for that. Yeah. So we'll see. We've got. Trying to think of who is next.
They were fun. They were fun to watch. They were down tonight like 10-3 or something like that at one point, or 12-5. And then all of a sudden, like I like left the room to go get a glass of water. I came back and we were up 20-10, and then never looked back. Yeah. So I think in the second quarter, I will say this: in the second quarter, we held them to 3 of 11 shooting. The Huskers were 3 of 11 from 3-point and 9 of 18 from on all shots or something like that, right? So like,
that'll win you a lot of quarters.
Yeah, and they have quarters there. Which one I don't understand, like why every league but men's college basketball plays 4 quarters.
Although they do in like some of the postseason tournaments, which makes no sense. So,
which makes no sense at all. So I don't get it. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I do want to say, though, I'm so glad that you're on the show, Abby, because I have been, I don't want to say forced, but I have been more apt to watch the women's sports leagues because I know that we're talking about them more. And quite frankly, I'm loving the entertainment. How's that? Like so I was rotating. I was sick all weekend, kind of banned to the basement so that I wouldn't get my girls sick because they have performances this week for the holidays and all that. And so I would have like 4 screens. I'd have my phone, my 2 computers, and the TV going the whole time, like with all these different sports going on. And I was like rotating volleyball and women's basketball. Like one machine was dedicated to Husker women's sports. It was fantastic. Yeah.
So it should be. Yeah. And not just because I talk about it. They're fun. Guys,
yeah,
they're
a lot to
watch this year. They're deep team. Everybody's so competitive, and so like they have jobs on the field, on the court, and what's fun about them, and you get it a little bit with basketball, but typically just kind of within maybe a handful of them. But with the women's team, like you just never know who's going to be on that night. Like you just don't know. Like you expect like Britt's going to do really well, Callan's going to do really well, Jess and Amaya's been getting hot lately, but you kind of you expect some of those, but then you'll get like Haley Weaver having a game high or a career high game, and Eliza Maupin and Petra Bojan comes out of nowhere and gets like 6 blocks, right? Like, so everybody on that team at some point is going to have a night, and you just don't, and it's just really fun because you just don't know who it's going to be, but they all are so supportive of one another that you can tell they kind of don't care who has the night. They want to win, but they just want whoever has it, they're like there for, and they're so supportive of.
Well, and they work so well as a team too, because like you said, it's like 1 minute, if one person's not scoring, it's a lot like the men's team, right? Like all of a sudden, like there are 2 or 3 other people that can basically take over the game. I think, Britt Prince at one point, I think she had like a 7 or 8 point run tonight on her own. That kind of gave the team the lead. They relaxed, and then they just started playing much better as a team, especially on the defensive end where a lot of their points were on. I'm not quite sure how many points off turnovers they had, but it seemed like a lot tonight.
We got 36.
36 points off of turnovers. So there you go. So to my point, wow, look at me paying attention.
Yep,
so I did notice. I was like, God, every time I turned around, it seemed like there was a steal. Because I mean, the beginning of the game was so sloppy. It was really hard to watch, but it wouldn't matter if it was men or women. It was just hard to watch that game in the first quarter for the first like 5-10 minutes. And then we got it together and just took the game over like we should have. Yeah. I mean, they better beat a team that lost to University of Northern Colorado women just a few nights before. That's all I know.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting just to finish out December, because then the schedule ramps up pretty quickly once you get to conference play. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of ranked teams in conference. I mean, we got USC. They're in the top, what, are they 16th, 15th? And then Iowa's right outside the top 10. Indiana is probably sniffing the top 25 if they're not close. And then UCLA and Michigan State. So, I mean, it ramps up in a hurry once we get past these last 2 non-con games. So that'll be a lot of fun to kind of watch and see where this team is and how it stacks up with the rest of the Big Ten. So we'll find out pretty soon.
Not a lot of breaks once that season
gets going. The conference. Yep, that's it.
So yeah. And Bill has a great comment here. There's a theme in both the men's and women's basketball. Good culture breeds good culture. And I think we kind of alluded to it before the season started, after media days, and we've kind of talked about it a lot, is like both of these teams, both of these coaches really seem like they have their culture solidified. Like I think Amy's had it for a lot longer, and that's just because she's been here longer. But it seems like Fred has really got his down. Like this is the team he wants them to be, and he has the people around him, staff and players, who are like bought in, and you just see the difference. And it's the same with Amy. She knows what her culture is. She knows what her team is. She brings the players in who are going to fit it. I think both So far, I know it's early. It's very early. There's a lot of Husker fans who think we're going to start losing, and you are who you are, Scott. But I think it's just been so fun. And I don't think in men's basketball, we're going to see the roller coaster that we experienced last year, where it's like, we just look like we don't come out to play. We finally played a whole game against Creighton, which is great. I just think we're going to see more of that this year than we did last year. And I think, again, it's because the full culture I think everybody has bought in this year. I don't think that's been the case all of the time in the past.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
That's it. That's all I got. Parting shots.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Did we talk about the collective thing at all today?
Oh no, you're right. That's right. That was Rob.
Do we
that was so
possibly
good.
even have
is
there like sources for the Redcast?
I had a
I've seen a lot of
Wait, no. Wait, I got a segue, Rob.
Oh,
I got a segue. Let me do it real quick. I want to remember Creighton paid a lot of money for a couple of those Iowa players. I think they may have paid more for those Iowa players than we pay for our entire team. Now, in this case, it's okay. We didn't need the extra money. But going into Big Ten play, it might be a thing that we would like to consider in the future, is how we can give to help continue to grow these teams and get these players that fit our culture.
Well, Abby, as you may have well heard, 1890 will be closing its doors, the Nebraska Collective. So thank you to the Peds for all that they've done to enhance Nebraska sports over the last few years. For a while now, I actually had, so once they announced that, you saw a lot of speculation about what was going to happen with that. And quite frankly, the only thing public is that they're closing, right? Closing the doors. A lot of the NIL is going to be brought into house. So I picked up the phone and made a good phone call to a good friend of the show, Tyler Kai, who is the, his title is so long that saying it out loud would almost be a disservice for me, but he is basically the associate athletic director for fundraising for the Nebraska athletic department. And, when I spoke with him today, he kind of gave me the down low on what's happening there. Cause as you know, collectives as a collective are going away. For example, LSU shut theirs down last July, brought it in-house. K-State announced it last week that they were closing theirs down or shutting theirs down. Obviously, nobody cares about K-State outside of K-State fans, so nobody knew that. But when Nebraska announced theirs, everybody's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna be going down the toilet. This is terrible." So I'm like, I want to get the inside scoop on this, because a while back I'd had a conversation with Tyler about it before the spring game, like 2 years ago, when all of this was starting to kind of come to fruition as far as like how NIL was going to be handled. And he said, yeah, now what they're doing is at that time, if you made a donation, let's say $10 million, you could say, I want $5 million to go to Husker Athletics, and I want the other $5 million to go to 1890, and they could distribute those funds for you, right? That was kind of an evolution of that, which didn't seem like it was going to be like a lasting sort of thing, right? That just seems like it would be really confusing, basically having one person you hand a check to, and then they can take that check and divide it up into pieces. So essentially, post house settlement, right? There was the big house settlement over NILs and collectives and the way money could be distributed. For a while, what was going on was the collectives were taking money and basically it was still a pay to play model, right? You give a kid $1 million, and if they throw up a few social media posts every now and then, like, you're calling that, good. You're saying, okay, this is what you get paid for. And then obviously the little guys like the muchachos could come in and do a burrito named after a player, sell it, and part of the money from those sales goes back to the player, and maybe they get free food when they come in, etc. And that just wasn't fair, right? Like, I mean, for all intents and purposes and for longevity, it just wasn't going to work. It's the pay to play model. It was just now in the wide open. So basically what now is happening is that all of the collectives were taking their donations into a pool. the collective would determine the funds. Now what's happening in the revenue share era is that there is an independent agency called the Deloitte Clearinghouse, which sounds like something like Ed McMahon should be talking about this right now, right? And like offering money out to all the kids.
Yeah, they already may have won $1 million.
Yeah, and you guys feel free to interrupt me and ask, because I had a really good conversation with Tyler about this. And as long as I will talk, I guarantee you he and I talk 3 times as long. And so what happens is now when there is an NIL deal for a player, it has to be approved through the clearinghouse. So you would say they clear it, right? I guess that's the best way to put it. So if you submit like $1 million NIL deal for a player and it's like, oh, you only have to put up 2 or 3 social media posts, that's to pay to play. There has to be like a meaning behind the sponsorship. What is this person doing to earn this money? And it has to be real. So, even like Adidas, if you've got, what are some of the local people that are sponsoring people in Runza, Aloe Fiber, right? My employer, right? Like if we're doing any NIL deals at this point, all of them has to be run through this clearinghouse. So it's essentially what's happening is the collective's going away. All NIL money is going to be coming into Nebraska. Right now, we've got $20.5 million, right, as part of the revenue sharing. And then last week, for example, and this is one example, we have a multimedia company that we work with called Playfly Sports, right? We already had like a 15-year contract with them. Well, last week, the Board of Regents met and approved kind of a new extension to that agreement where they are going to give $10.5 million to the NIL fund. $8 million of that has to be basically distributed by June of next year, and then the rest of it has to be distributed by 2030. Between now and then as well, there can be revenue sharing put forward by Playfly to NIL at Nebraska. So it doesn't stop at that $10 million. And the other thing is that outside donors can also donate to the NIL with in-house for the Husker Athletics. Is all this making sense?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
First off, just like, is Deloitte approving all of these things? I know our listeners love accounting talk, but
yes,
this is important stuff, I guess, for the future programs.
Yeah, and we're probably losing listeners at this point. But yes, so Deloitte has to approve all of these deals. And so like the NIL money is already approved for, say, Clearfly because multimedia. So then like a company outside, like say Aloe, can also purchase ad space through our multimedia company that we have an agreement with out of that NIL to pay players as well. So you can say, Aloe can say, I want to spend $5,000 for Andy Jackson to do commercials in Brighton, Colorado for Aloe supporting the Huskers, right? Because there's a ton of Husker fans in Colorado, more Husker fans in Colorado than there are any other sport for college. It's a fact. So maybe they want to spend some of that money in Brighton and here in Greeley. So they can do that, right? And they use that money towards putting NIL from Playfly towards players there. So
like who determines like what, like I want $5,000 worth of Andy Jackson's media time? How do they determine what that amount is? Who determines that? Do we know, or is that?
No, I am that's more, I think, just like an internal, the company spending the money, right? Like this is our player. We have agreed NIL contracts with them. We want to boost it a little bit more. We're going to buy these ads through so like, even if like the Redcast was the official podcast for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, right? And we could use their branding. That is not going to happen, Abby. Do not look at it yet. But so, I mean, I never say the answer is no until I hear no. So
right. That's fair.
Yes. And then when I hear no, I walk away. I just want to be clear.
And then you come back tomorrow and try again, which is
well, yeah. But the answer is always no if you don't ask, if you're listening, Huskers. But so if we would basically have to send all of our media that we want to use to advertise anything with Husker branding on it through Playfly. And Playfly would approve it, and then we can post it. So that's kind of the way that any company that works with Nebraska as a sponsor, like any of those sponsors you see on the side of the court, all of those, that's the way that works. And again, now they're tying in NIL with all of it, right? So through multimedia, through in-house donors, through agreements of all these large corporations. And now the other caveat is that Adidas can also sponsor kids like Dylan and Harper, and still pay them all that money, but they can also justify it through like shoe sales and t-shirt sales and all those other, commercials or whatever it is that they want to do for them. The only thing I don't like about that is that schools like Adidas, where they have multiple interest, say with different schools, I really don't like the kids can sign with them, because if that kid gets interested in the transfer portal, you can start shopping them around to other schools. Like, I hate that. I hate that idea. I think that will ultimately ruin the sport, but I digress. So yeah, so that's where we're at with basically all of the NIL stuff. So to answer all the questions on social media about that is, yes, the collective's going away, but they're bringing it in house. It's really simple. There's no speculation on that. I can confirm that that's exactly what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you said other schools are doing the same thing. So,
yeah, basically collectives are just going away nationwide at this point. A lot of schools never even formed them. They were just waiting to find out about revenue share. We led the way, at least, working with what was allowable. But now with the House settlement and everything with that, and just the way that things have to be approved, you basically have to prove that you're paying kids the value of the NIL that you're giving them.
Gotcha.
Has to be proven.
Now, now, if you're a cynic with the entire world of college sports, they might say, is this just a way to get around the revenue sharing cap? Is that kind of how we're viewing this, and how teams are going to kind of approach this going forward? We're only supposed to share $20 million, and now we're bringing NIL in house, and wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I mean, from my point of view, I think the revenue share portion of it is great, because it gives some schools an advantage that they didn't have in the past, right? Maybe they don't have those types of revenue capabilities from outside donors. I think it makes it a lot more transparent how these kids are being paid, where, we're not the Miami of the 90s where, kids are getting McDonald's bags full of cash. And, I would say at this point is, like, if you're not happy with the amount of money that your donors are giving for NIL to student athletes, get richer donors. That's all I can say. Educate those guys better so they can make more money.
Yeah. Or
why haven't people just tried being richer?
Yeah. God, make more money.
Or just get a lot of individual donors, like we said.
Thank you. That was a really good Paris Hilton impersonation. I just want you to know, Abby.
Yeah, and we do have the link scrolling if you are interested in donating to the Husker NIL. HTTPS huskers.avenue.net/give. So yeah. If you are interested in being part of the NIL going forward, so you do have that opportunity.
Or you can just Google Husker NIL donations, and it brings up the website to the Husker Athletic Department. And right in the upper right-hand corner, it says donate to NIL, and you can do that. Or reach out to me personally. I'd love to, if you've got a boatload of cash buried in the backyard and you want to give it to Husker Athletics, I will give you Tyler Kai's phone number. You can call him, and I'm sure he'd be more than happy to take your call.
Yeah, he usually has a pen handy.
I was going to say, and if you don't have a pen handy to write that check, he will. He always has a pen handy. So he's the one that always taught me to carry a pen. And in fact, I've got one right here. So, yeah, well, that's all I got on NIL. Sorry, Abby, you can wake up now.
I've been here. I've been listening.
People love numbers and accounting. Come on,
I love numbers.
Gold.
People love numbers and stats.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun too, because I got to ask Tyler a few questions about some things going on internally that I was curious about to see what kind of answers she'd give me, but unfortunately, here we are, and me not being able to share a lot of that. So maybe someday I can just come back on and be like, I wanted to tell you so. But
you just leak it on Twitter under an anonymous account.
And then get banned permanently forever from
the stadium.
The stadium.
We don't want that. Yeah. It's not your story to tell, Rob.
I'm gonna create a new account called Josh Tweeter Dad instead of Josh Tweeter's son. Okay, I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, well, let's just end it there. You did get some thanks from Bill, just trying to explain a little bit, Rob. So I think it's time to call that.
I think it is.
It's time for our parting shots, guys.
Yeah. So time
And
for
this
parting shots.
That's
Boomer, why don't you
not
go
me,
ahead
but
and start those out?
let's
Yeah, I
not
don't have a
whimper our
whole
way
lot.
out.
Yeah, I don't have a
All
whole lot
right.
parting shot wise. It's just it's that time of year. We're already gearing up to win the off season in football. There's still volleyball going on, so get out and support that, and tons of basketball. I mean, it's just the craziest time to see both men's and women's basketball ranked at the same time. I can't venture a guess last time that happened. I haven't looked it up, but it can't be a common occurrence. So just enjoy that for what it is, and I'm enjoying the ride. So let's run with that. So
Yeah, Abby.
Mine, I think I say this like all the time, but given that like portal windows are starting to open up they're open for volleyball, they'll be open for football in January, right? That while yes, everybody that Nebraska gets is the best player that's ever existed, and everybody who doesn't want to play for Nebraska clearly sucks, and we never liked them. Do also please remember that sometimes kids enter the portal and come back, and sometimes kids never enter the portal, and people just like to say they're going to enter the portal. And so just be aware that even if they leave, that doesn't mean they're evil, stupid people and deserve to be, I don't know, doxxed and hated on, because you just don't really know what's going to happen. And so just a common general plea to remember to be kind, because they are all better athletes than all of you.
That was the part of the parting shot there that I wasn't expecting. There was the
I
gut shot right there.
that should have
Okay,
been
sir.
though from Abby.
Yeah,
we do
from
like
Abby.
that. That's
Yeah,
why we have her on.
Yeah,
Yep.
no matter how much you want to rip on them, you suck. My parting shot. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for trying to stay awake through my explanation of collectives and NIL and the current state of it with Husker Nation. I'm also actually looking forward to the bowl game. It is still TBD as to whether or not I'm going to go, because I would have to find somewhere to stay for that. I'm not going to pay for a hotel room by myself. I do got the points though, so I can fly out there whenever I want to. But I might join Vegas Jer if he says I can stay with him. That would be great. But I will bring my clubs for that and go out a day earlier just so we can hit a golf course somewhere out there. It's bowl season. It's basketball season. It's volleyball. I mean, we're going to be seeing a national championship here soon. I can feel it. And go Big Red. I guess that's another Go Big Redcast.
Go Big Red.
A Herd at Sports Network production.